My last one is trust your gut, um, which is I get where people are coming with it, and it's trust your intuition, and I get it. But we're talking about the same gut that almost pooped my pants the other day. I'm not trusting it at all.
Hey there, hi there, ho there. It's time for the Better Merch, Better Marketing podcast. It is everybody's favorite podcast on a Friday. Joining you today, yours truly, Kirby Hasseman. I am one of your hosts. And of course, the other rock star, our branding bestie herself, Jade Kreider. Jade, how are you?
I am so good. The sun is shining. I can't complain, and I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, I find that regardless of what's going on, I do enjoy doing this with you. It kind of takes my mood and elevates it. I think partially because you gotta kind of put it on a little bit. It's like when you invite friends over, all of a sudden projects get done around the house.
Yeah.
Right. And so I think there's a little bit of that with me. It's like I have to put myself in a better mood to do this. And then to be honest, I enjoy talking with you. So this is one of those things that really lifts me up, and I hope it does for you too. So if you are new around here, this is Better Merch, Better Marketing. Our goal is to help you elevate. It's brought to you by Hasseman Marketing. If you want to learn more about us, head to hassemanmarketing.com. We've got all kinds of tools there. If you're in the marketing side, you can get the Target marketing playbook, and then we've got stuff for our HR friends at the Target hiring playbook as well. So are we ready to dive in, Jade?
I think we're ready. It's funny you said that because you said that you don't do stuff until you have to. We're about to put our house on the market here in the next couple months. And so now we're doing all the projects that we said we were going to do the entire time we've lived in this house. It's funny, I painted the ceilings yesterday, so I keep stretching my neck because my neck's a little sore. So if you're watching, ignore me stretching my neck randomly. So
yeah, I know. I feel you on that. I haven't painted my ceilings, but I've been working out more, and it's like all of a sudden I'm just randomly sore in places. Yeah. So. And I refuse to believe that's age. That's just me doing
it's just because you're working out more, for sure.
Yeah. Well, cool. All right. So you want to let's dive into our topics. I kind of want you to introduce the first one, just because, again, as those who know, you kind of came up with these, and this is one that I kind of wanted to hear your reasoning behind this one.
Yes, I don't even think I've told you. So on my most recent Zoom call, one of the things in our industry is called Promo Kitchen. And it's essentially people who have been in the industry for a really long time, kind of mentoring and educating some of the people who are new to the industry. And I've recently joined Promo Kitchen, and they've been doing fun questions. And this was actually one of the ones that they did. And so I thought I'd kind of steal it for our podcast because it was fun to hear everybody's answers. So now I want people in the comments to give answers. So we're going to be talking about our favorite mascots right now, whether it's brand mascots, sports mascots, whatever it is you want it to be, but whoever your favorite mascots are right now. You want to kick us off?
Yeah. And so, it's funny, when I think of sports mascots, I struggle with this because the Cleveland Indians are now the Cleveland Guardians, and then the Cleveland Browns don't really, they've got mascots, but they're super lame. So I'm going to go with, I actually have several. Do you want to just go back and forth? Is that what you want to do?
Yeah, let's go back and forth. I have two, so you can go as long as you want.
All right. Well, this is the one that I actually thought of is not like, it's kind of a mascot, but kind of not a mascot. Okay. And I'll just say his name, and then you tell me what follows.
Okay.
Jake.
The Giant?
That is what's known as a fail. Jake from State Farm. Jake from State Farm. Like I literally, I'm like, I cannot hear the name Jake anymore without thinking Jake from State Farm. So I was like, it's not really a mascot, but it's like, it kind of is. And
it's Jake the
Giant. Jade, the branding bestie. I think Jade had a gummy today.
I needed that laugh. Thanks, that was good. I needed that.
Yeah. Jake the Giant.
I didn't know where it was going. I could have sworn that was the thing.
All right. Well, to be fair, I didn't prep you for that. That was awesome. I feel really good. I don't know what Jake the Giant is a mascot for. But if you're listening to this podcast and you're looking for a mascot for your company, Jake the Giant is available. Jake from State Farm is not. So, okay.
Oh my gosh, I gotta pull myself together. That was funny. Jesus Christ. I hate being put on the spot. Those of you listening, if you don't know, I do not enjoy being put on the spot because I always say some really unhinged shit every time. Ooh, okay. Anyways. Ooh, my face hurts. My favorite currently is gonna be Duolingo, and it's because of the presence he's kind of had on TikTok, especially here recently. They have really took that and run with it, and now like other brands always mention Duolingo, and so now there's like crossovers. Duolingo is killing it, and I feel like they like rebranded apparently, which I didn't even know about. And so it's been cool to see like the I don't know. It's so fun. They post the dumbest stuff. It's so fun.
What's Duolingo?
The translating.
Yeah, okay.
Where it teaches you how to translate.
Sure.
Oh,
okay.
You knew? You just wanted me to explain?
Yeah. Because I mean, if you didn't know, and so I don't know, what's their mascot?
It's a bird. Okay. It's a big green bird, and so they have a person that wears the thing, and they do all the TikTok sounds, and like it's hilarious.
Okay. So it's a giant bird. It's Jake the Giant. We can tie that thing together. All right.
Yes.
Okay, so honestly, when I think of mascots, the one that I always think of is the Energizer Bunny. Not only because I think it's a great mascot, it ties to what the product is because it keeps going and going and going and all that stuff. But it's also kind of like become, I don't know if it's like an adjective or something. It's like, oh, they're like the Energizer Bunny. They keep, like it is, it's become synonymous with other things. So I like that one.
That's a good one. My next one's a little nostalgic.
Okay.
And it's Bobby Jack from Bobby Jack Bubblegum.
Okay.
I don't even know if you remember.
Yeah.
But I think it's bubblegum. But then they started making like purses and bags and shirts. And I had all of the above when I was all of 6 years old. And for some reason I can see that like Bobby Jack and I know exactly what it is.
Okay. I like that one.
So that's my niche one.
No, it's good. I like it. And then the final one. So there's two other thoughts. Okay. I guess I'll give you is number one is the Kool-Aid Man, right? You know, that one just, again, I think that is the kind of a quintessential mascot that represents the product and all that stuff. I like that one. And then I actually asked the team about this one, Jade, and what they kind of came up with is like the Savannah Bananas. They're like the whole thing is like a mascot, right? And so the team, the all the choreography, all the stuff that goes on, they're kind of their own mascot. So those are all sort of fun things that had us thinking today. So I think that one's good.
Yeah, I'm hoping I can go to a Savannah Banana baseball game one day. It's on the list.
I agree with you. I think that would be super fun. All right. So let's move on. I really like this topic. So this Jade sent me this one. Advice we hear frequently, but we don't agree with, right? And I actually ask this question sometimes of other, like the people I interview on Delivering Marketing Joy. What's one piece of advice you hear all the time that you think is wrong? So I'm actually excited to dive into this one. So what's some advice that you hear? And again, do you want to do this back and forth?
Yeah, we can go back and forth.
All right. You want to go first?
Sure. I think this is a fun one because this could almost go on like unpopular opinions too. Because I think it's one that, again, these are things that people say that I just don't personally like. It doesn't resonate with me more than anything. Yep. My first one is find your passion and it'll all work out. I think that's horse baloney. I don't want to say curse words, even though I already did on this episode. But it's horse crap. I didn't think I was going to like promotional products. I did this as a temporary thing. And now it's something I love. And now it's growing into something so big. But I fought this for so long. I fought it for so long. And yet now it is my passion. So I think it's almost backwards of like, just do it. And maybe you'll find your passion. And so I think we just say that backwards. And so people a lot of times look for, oh, you know, I really kind of enjoy playing with, this is not against hairstyles. This is just an example. I really kind of enjoy hair. Oh, but you don't enjoy the lifestyle that hairstyles have to live because it's a grueling hairstyle? Okay, then maybe it's not your passion. Maybe it's just a fun thing you do for the side. So that's my first one.
Yeah, that is so. Again, we're kindred spirits on this one. My number
Mm-hmm.
one thing that I think people have wrong is that exact thing. They follow
Mm-hmm.
your passion, and you'll never work another day in your life, right? So, two things about that. I mean, there's nothing wrong with following your passion. The
Right. Some
problem
people
is,
it
I think,
works.
yeah, but the problem is a lot of people are like, yeah, but I don't know my passion, and so then it's
Right.
completely doesn't help them. I think
Yeah.
that you bring you with you everywhere. So no matter what you're doing, do it with passion, and then
Mm-hmm.
you will get better at it. Then you get
Yeah.
more passionate about it, and
Mm-hmm.
it's a recurring cycle. I think where the advice comes from, it comes from a good place, but I think that we ask successful people what we should do, and then they say, well, follow your passion, because they look back and they've been passionate about their work.
Mm-hmm.
But nobody like is like, oh, and this isn't, again, same thing with hairstylists. It's not, but it's like nobody wakes up at 4 and they're like, I want to be an accountant. But you're good at
Right.
math. You
And
you
you
start
enjoy
doing
it.
it. You get positive enforcement.
Mm-hmm.
And you can monetize it.
Right.
But looking back, it looks like your passion. But during it, you
Mm-hmm.
have to create your passion, and you create your passion by showing up.
Mm-hmm.
The second part of this, and again, this is the part that makes me crazy, is, if you love what you do, you'll never work another day in your life. Also horseshit. Just
Mm-hmm.
not true. Like, I love what I do. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
I really do. And there are really hard days.
Yeah.
And the problem with that piece of advice, and this is something I've said, is I think that we tell young people then, well, once you find the right thing, it will never be hard. And
Yeah.
that's like it.
Mm-hmm.
And then they hear that, and then the thing they're doing is hard, and they're like, this must not be the thing, and I'll jump ship and try something new.
Mm-hmm.
Alex Hermosi says this. He's like, life is hard. Thinking it's not makes it harder.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, that was one of those profound things that kind of blew my mind. So
Mm-hmm.
I what you said, and kind of, I kind of
Mm-hmm.
partner with it. I think that those are, I just wildly disagree with that piece
Mm-hmm.
of advice.
Yeah. So is that your first one then?
That was my first one. Yeah.
Okay,
So,
cool. My next one's a little bit more, I don't know, I don't think you might agree with it quite as much. But and this one sometimes is true. So I'm not saying it's not
okay.
ever true, but specifically kill them with kindness.
Mm.
I'm here for it. Sometimes you can. And sometimes people need to be told to buzz off.
Yeah, I hear it.
And like, I'm not saying most of the time you can, but at 90% of the time, if you can do it with kindness, it doesn't need to be done. And so it's one of those that, like, is that really true? Maverick's got an opinion on it too. It's such a,
yeah, he does. Yeah.
Sometimes
So
people just need to be told.
Yeah, no, I buy that. So I think starting to kill them with kindness is probably the right place, right? Like, and I will say that I have had success converting people who are grumpy into people who are less grumpy by pushing positivity up their butt. Now then there are those who cannot be converted, and I hear what you're saying. I still think it's probably the right thing to start with, and then so I understand, because one of my favorite stories was, I heard this guy, he said he went into a bank, and let me back up. Their team didn't like going into the bank, and there was like 3 or 4 people in there, and like they would fight over who had to go make the deposits or whatever, because the person who was at the front was always mean, or they were grumpy about everything. And so the entrepreneur guy overheard them talking about it and was like, okay, I'll go do it. And they're like, no, you don't want to do it. No, I'd love to. And so he walked in, and he's like, I wondered as I'm going in if I'd know who it was. And I walked in, and I'm like, oh, I know exactly who it is, because they're barking at people, they're grumpy, all this stuff. And he said he walked up to the front of the store, or the front of the line, and yeah, was like the response. And he said, are you having a good day? And the woman was like, yeah. He's like, then you should tell your face.
Oh. Yeah, that's me. Felt that.
Which I thought was one of the funniest lines ever. So anyway,
that was a good
I think
story.
I just built into your piece. Okay.
Which was perfect, because there was somebody trying to knock on my front door, so your timing was good. I could mute for a minute, so good work.
Cool, perfect. All right, so my second piece of advice, and I've only got 2, so if you've got an extra one, we can go to it. But is, again, same thing, kind of right, but kind of not. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Is treat others how you want to be treated.
Mm.
In theory, like that's a good place to start.
Yeah.
Right. But I think the real advice is treat them how they want to be treated.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I'm thinking of that from a leadership perspective, because you don't know every single person you're dealing with, how they want to be treated. But I think one of the lessons in leaderships was a lot of my employees didn't want to be treated like I treat myself or whatever. They didn't want to work as hard as I wanted to work. They weren't as passionate about the thing. They didn't want all the hours. I needed to treat them how they wanted to be treated. And I think that once I made that shift, I became probably a better friend and definitely a better leader. So,
my final one, and I apologize, there might be some background noise going on today, so I apologize.
Worries.
My last one is trust your gut, which is, I get where people are coming with it, and it's trust your intuition, and I get it, but we're talking about the same gut that almost pooped my pants the other day. I'm not trusting it at all.
I think maybe we're talking about two different things.
No,
hear me out. So here's what I don't know.
That's just the joke. But just like, trust your gut on what? Like, oh, cool, we're house shopping. Trust your gut on which one to get. No, I'm going to run the numbers. I'm going to make an educated decision. I'm not just going to trust my gut on everything I do. And so, but the trust the gut that almost pooped my pants kind of just felt like it went with it. So yeah,
I all I know is that's going to be the open to the podcast. That's all I know. For sure. That's what's happening. So, no, I hear you. I think that, so the thing I would say is I agree with you. I think making decisions based on data is almost always better. That being said, I do think that there are times where you're like, I've gotten to it. I've done the pros on one side and the cons on the other side.
My type A is already type A.
I've done this. And you get to a place where you're like, okay, they're both good choices. I remember your sister was looking at two different colleges at one point, and the struggle I had is that I want to make those decisions for people. Right? But I didn't want to make that decision for her. She needed to make it for herself. And I needed to not be the reason she was unhappy down the road. You know what I mean? Like it was, and I remember saying to her, like, the good news is she'd narrowed it down. I'm like, they're both good choices.
Decisions. Yeah.
Like and she was like, she wanted me to make the decision. So she was like, that doesn't help me. There does come a place where, okay, but which one do you feel like on a Tuesday you're going to feel like waking up? I mean, it's like, and sometimes it is feel. So
which is fair, especially the one that always interests me, especially with that. And I'm kind of contradicting what I just said. But like when they tell you to flip a coin, because when the coin's in the air, you'll know.
That's interesting.
Yeah. If you're not sure about something, you know which one you'll be happy with the answer. If you're going to be bummed with the answer, then you have your answer. It's the thing I've started doing here recently is like flip the coin. If you're nervous about how it's going to land, you know the answer.
I like that. That's pretty good.
So it's like less of trust your gut and more of like a fine, leave it up to fate, except for you're not, because you're leaving it up to fate. And then if you're disappointed with the answer, even if I do it and go, oh, tails, okay, then it's heads. Next.
Yeah, I like that. That's pretty good.
And so that was the other one I kind of saw that I thought was fun.
Okay, cool. That's good. All right. So next up, we've got ways to support our work from home employees. And I feel like this is one of those where we talk about, I might have mistranslated this.
Okay.
So I have some things here written down. And I guess I'm going to speak from, we have some work from home employees, but then we work with people who have work employees. So I have I have three things that come to mind when you have work from the employees that work from home, and that are lessons that I've learned with this. And I'll go through them pretty quickly. And then honestly, you work from home, so you can give me a grade on how we're doing. So the big lesson is just wildly over communicate, because the challenge, as you know, I enjoy working from the office. I'm at home today, but I like the accidental collisions. I like the ability to get up and walk out and go, hey, I've got this idea. What do you think? Yeah, you can do that work from home, but it's not not organic. It's not organic, right? So we got to wildly over communicate the things. We had an experience today, right? Where you and I were talking about something that I told the people who were around me and I didn't tell you, right? It was about the ordering extras on the transfers, right? I made that decision. I talked about it, but I didn't communicate it to everybody. And so you have to be overly diligent. So that's number one, is just over communicate. Number two is that I have is use all the apps that are available, right? Whether that's Zoom, whether that's Slack, whether that's Riverside. The one that you and I use all the time is Marco Polo. I really like that one, but use them all so that the communication thing happens, right? And you can do it where it's like, that's what I like about Marco Polo, is it happens in the moment. I don't have to get back to the office so that I can send you a message. It just happens.
Right.
And then send merch, right? Make them feel a part of the team when they are not in the same room, right? And so those were my three. That's like, okay, make sure that they feel like that they're a part of all the campaigns that are going on, all the stuff that's going on, and that's a little way you can do it. So, all right, you're muted.
My goodness, I'm so sorry. It's so loud. I keep trying to mute myself. I love that. One of the ones that I said that is a thing that maybe you don't notice as much yourself, but having a good work from home environment changes the way that I do my job. If I come in the morning and I have a clean desk and I have my setup looking nice and I have my nice keyboard and I have my little things that I have to have, I'm in a better mood and I get a lot more work done. And so to say, yes, I'm going to sell you merch. That's my job. So I'm going to say this. Get them the things that they need. There's things that we can sell. One of the things that I'm actually going to get when I get to redo my office is a light that goes on top of your monitor that cancels out the blue light, and it's like a little desk lamp, and it's got your logo on it. Get them a nice mouse pad. Get them the things that they need to work from home that can also have your branding on it. So it's kind of a win-win, but it gives them a space that they're excited to sit down at, because they're taking space out of their home to work at. And so the fact that I do have this really nice leather desk mat that like I can use my mouse on in any spot, it changes the way that I use my desk. And the fact that I do have tons of merch and I always have a good water bottle to drink out of and I always have these things, that's something that changes the way that I like do my day. And it sounds like such a minimal thing, but when it's given to you, I don't want to buy a desk mat. I don't want to.
Yeah. I hear that.
But if you give me one that says Hasseman Marketing, I'm excited because cool. Now I get to kind of rep work and I've got a nice setup. So the work from home setup was honestly kind of my biggest one. But one thing that honestly you pushed me on more than I was necessarily good at it is encourage people to take breaks. It's really, really, really easy when you're working from home to get sucked in. And you don't have the natural stuff. You don't have the natural go take a break and talk to Briar because I need a break for a minute. I don't have that like natural. So it's hard sometimes. So I have to force myself. And I mean, like, there are days where when I'm swamped and I don't, like, I'm a little overwhelmed, it's hard for me to walk away from my desk, but I have to. Because if not, it gets to 3:30, which is an hour past my time, what I'm normally working. Yeah. And I haven't even had lunch because I forgot to take a break. And so Kirby's done a great job, but it's just a thing of tell people to take a break, tell people to take a walk if they need to, because they're going to get better work done if they've taken those breaks.
Yeah. The funny thing is I think the big worry all the time is that, we actually had this conversation in Vegas with, I don't remember, if you remember it, but with Harvey Mackler. He was in your session and they were talking about this, and he said, but how do you ensure people will work? Right? That's the fear, is that you let people work from home and then they're going to go sit around and watch Big Bang Theory reruns and don't do anything. And I think that could happen. That's not been my experience. I actually got an office at one point because I was working from home and I was always working.
It's hard to turn off.
Yeah. And so I think that's, I feel that makes sense. All right, cool. All right. So next up, it's time for the product of the week. And it apparently makes sounds.
ASMR. This week we are talking about, this is from our friends at Maple Ridge. Specifically, these are the sweeter cards. So there's different versions of these. The one that we're talking about today and that will be the product of the week this week is actually the gummy bear version. But I actually just recently had the chocolate bar version that is also very delicious. So these are a fully custom, if you're listening, it's a fully custom card. Essentially, you can customize the front, the inside, and the back, so you can do a ton of room for messaging. And I believe you can even do the very back of the card, but it does have to have those ingredients on there. But it's a full wrap custom. And then on this back side, or inside of it, I guess you could say, there's a sweet treat. There's not in this one because I've already eaten all the gummy bears, but
Fair.
These have a pretty low minimum at 36. It's really not too bad, especially with it being full custom, full color. I recommend doing a fun message and then having a little bit. So the way that they did this one is, there's nothing more exciting than having a delicious food gift show up at your door. So this came unsolicited. None of us asked for this. These just showed up at a bunch of our, some of my friends in the industry, of our door. And then they asked you to share it on social media, which, go check out my Instagram and TikTok to watch that video. But this was a cool way, good treats, and it's $10.
Yeah.
$10.
Well, I do love the chocolate that they do is incredible, but the gummy bears, it does speak to my heart. So this is actually, I'm recording this from my home office, but I have that sitting on my desk right now too. And this was a really cool surprise. And so when I think about this, I'm like, okay, this works for new product launches. This looks for gifts for work from home people. There's all kinds of ways that you could build it around it. If you have a movement that you want to start at your office or on your team. I think, is there a QR code on the inside of that?
Yes.
If not, you certainly could do that. So you could build a lot of messaging with this one. So I agree. This is a really cool product.
It's also the way that they did it, of kind of just like, it just showed up at your door. An interesting way to do that, because like, I didn't know it was coming and I saw a package and I was like, ooh, new pack. I always love getting mail. It's my favorite. And it's mail. It's not a bill. So it's exciting to get fun packages. Yeah. Let's be honest. We all live in that era. But so this was a cool way to do it, where it just showed up at your door. And what they asked you to do was share a picture on your Instagram. It's not that hard. Do the same thing. Like, have a call to action inside of this card, and they're excited. They'll do it because they just got free food.
Yeah, I love it. That's a really cool one. And so we have created a little product of the week shop. So we'll put this in here so you can check it out if you are interested. And if you're listening to this on the podcast, all of these Better Merch, Better Marketing podcasts are on at hassemanmarketing.com. Just go to our blog and we've got those listed as well. So you can have a clickable link and all that sort of thing. Final deal here is our shout out. Our shout out this week. And again, if you are new here, please feel free to send us organizations, projects, all those sort of things that are worthy of being shouted out. This week, we are talking about our pals at Gentlebrook. Gentlebrook is an organization that does assisted living, nursing, all that sort of thing. And they are investing in a very big way in Coshocton County, building a new facility called the Homestead, where it is a big project that's happening. And anytime anybody is investing the millions of dollars it's going to take to build that, I get really excited, because that has an impact short term. It has impact long term in Coshocton County. So big shout out to them for that investment. And of course, what will happen when it's done is the servicing of a population that needs that. So that's really cool.
Be really cool.
Yeah, we're excited.
I got a sneak peek of it last time I was there, so I'm excited to see it.
And so Tana and her whole team over there, I'm excited about the work that's being done. So thank you. Okay. All right. Well, that is our show for today. So thank you so much for listening and following along. We do appreciate it. And head to hassemanmarketing.com, learn a little bit more about what we do to create better merch and better marketing. Again, there's some giveaways there. So if you want the target marketing playbook, you can check that out. The target hiring playbook, if you're on the HR or the hiring side, both are free.
Tell us your favorite mascots in the comments.
Jade, thanks for doing this each time. This always does brighten my day. I appreciate it.
Love you. Bye.
Bye, Jack the Giant.
Jake.